Welcome to our grand finale of this round of mid-season. That's where we watch a one-season show that was kind of mid. I'm Fadzai.
And I'm Sandile.
And today we will be going through the penultimate and final episodes of The Secret Circle. Woo! Hashtag gone too soon.
Bittersweet. Sad to see it go.
So yeah, things get crazy. I'm just gonna dive right into it. It's so wild. I'm surprised that the final episode did not get this title, or rather that this was not shaped around the final episode. But it's the penultimate episode that is called Prom.
Yeah.
Episode 21. Americans, my promtillion.
my promtillion formal. So many dances. Well, no, my promtillion formal homecoming.
So the episode starts with John Blackwell and the Circle kids meeting up at the witch shack because if you'll remember, they recently found Nick is running around alive. You described him as like this gray bloated corpse. I must say in defense of Nick, he's not that bad looking. He just looks a little pale and like there's bags under his eyes. He doesn't look like he's been dead for weeks.
As far as people who've been dead for months, he looks all right. Good even.
Just like it's giving hungry vampire.
You know,
frankly, it's giving overworked teenager.
It's giving hot zombie. It's giving warm bodies. You know,
warm bodies. But they're all like, oh my gosh, Nick is back. And this conversation is so weird because people keep shifting stances. And I'm like, I don't know who's on which side of this argument. Because first, Melissa's like, no, it can't be. And then Jake is like, yes, it's definitely my brother Nick because I saw a picture of our parents that he had with him. And then Adam is like, no. But resurrection? That's impossible. Even by our insane standards.
Not in this world of witchcraft and magic.
Which I've talked at length about this arbitrary skepticism that characters who exist in supernatural stories have. It's so silly to me all the time. I'm not going to get into it now. But Blackwell is like, well, you know, maybe when Nick drowned, the demon didn't die and it somehow kept his body alive. Then Melissa suddenly shifts and she's like, oh my gosh, it's Nick and he's alive. Yay.
And then like, girl, what Blackwell just said is the opposite of that. But okay.
And then Cassie and Faye are like, I don't know. He's been violently massacring people. And then Melissa's like, no, but his victims are witch hunters who are the same people we've been fighting. So that's fine. And then Jake is like, yeah, but Nick's behavior was like that of a wild animal. And Melissa says, well, if he's so wild, why is he looking for crystals? That seems like coherent thought. Maybe he's fine. Guys, Nick is the victim in all of this. He's suffering and he's trapped in this state of confusion post-resurrection. We need to help him. Then suddenly Jake shifts and he's like, no, whatever that thing is piloting Nick's body, it's not the real Nick. And I'm like, but my guy, you just said, was your point earlier that it's definitely Nick's body because you saw the picture of your parents? I thought you were saying it's definitely Nick because he had the picture. But okay.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Melissa's like, it's not that black and white. And he's like, deaf? Yeah, it is.
That's funny.
So then she gets upset and she leaves. And Adam's like, hey, Jake, don't be so harsh. Remember, she loved Nick. And I'm like, I don't know how you could forget. It's like her one character trait.
Only thing going on.
That and her friendship with Faye.
God.
And then Jake is like, well, Melissa needs to move on. And Adam goes after Melissa. I guess Faye and Jake eventually file off because then it's just Blackwell and his two daughters. And he's like, hey, Diana, can we talk? And she's like, actually, no, we can't. I'm here for the circle. And the less I speak to you, the better. So bye.
God, I love how consistent she is about that man.
I love it.
She's like, I don't like him and I don't trust him. And a blood connection does not change that.
And I love that she's not even like, I'm going to lie and pretend that I'm okay with him, but tell the other circle members I don't like him. She's like, no, I'm going to be honest with him and say I don't like him or trust him. So there it is.
Right.
And Cassie's like, no, let me reason with you, please, half-sister. And Diana's like, no, Cassie, I know you want to believe that Blackwell is on the up and up, but I don't trust him any more than I did before. And then she leaves. And I'm like, damn, she said that while he was standing right there. I love it. So Cassie's like, oh, sorry. Diana's just adjusting to this whole new father-daughter thing. And Blackwell's like, well, we need Diana to put the crystal skull back together. Cassie's like, but well, we haven't found the lost crystal. And Blackwell says, well, it's somewhere in the school since Adam and Melissa uncloaked it. So you just have to find it. Here's an idea. You could use your Belcoin blood to find it because you have a special connection to the crystals. So, go on a little solo mission.
Cassie does not question at all.
Doesn't ask any
I'm sorry,
questions.
Balkan Bladders Collection of Crystals. And how, why, from where?
Doesn't ask. She's like, okay, if daddy says it, it must be true. So she goes off to do a spell by drawing a symbol in her blood. She goes to the high school to do the spell. I do like that when she's like, oh, it's Balkan blood, so are you going to do the spell? And he's like, no, I can't be seen like wandering around the high school. And I'm like, oh, so you know you're creepy. Man. Okay.
Unlike your little friends who are always bringing these 25-year-olds into the school, I refuse to be caught lacking.
And this episode reveals so much confusing stuff about ages, and we'll get into it. But Cassie goes to the high school, does the spell. She's able to conjure up this apparition of her mother as a teenager. Teen Amelia Blake is looking for Elizabeth, Diana's mother. Unfortunately, the conjuration is incomplete. So it's like, okay, she goes to speak to Diana, and she's like, hey, Diana, I think I need your help to like do a full flashback because you also have Balkan blood. And Diana's like, I don't want to do dark magic. And she's like, it's not dark magic. It's just a bit of blood magic. It's okay. Let's just do it, sis. And she's like, okay, we'll meet up at the school tomorrow night. I don't know why they couldn't just do it that night. I was like, the school is as empty as it was when you went there earlier. Just go that evening. But she's like, we'll go tomorrow night during the prom because everyone will be busy with prom and we won't be noticed. And I'm like,
nobody's at prom at all tonight. So just do it now.
Exactly.
Weird.
Doesn't make any sense. But Diana's like, okay, I shall reluctantly agree. Faye, who is all about Jake this episode, it's fine, whatever, we're here now. She goes to speak to Jake and she's like, listen, your little outburst with Melissa was more insensitive than usual. So, you know, I'm here if you need to talk about your feelings, about your brother. And Jake is like, no, here's a dagger that I have. I'm going to protect us from Nick in case he comes back looking for the crystal. And she's like, oh, okay, wow.
Dude, he really just kind of pulls that knife out. Is it a particular, is it an athame, like, or is that just a knife?
I think it might be from the witch hunting tools.
Okay.
So we've come like full circle or something. I don't know.
Do their knives do anything? It doesn't seem like, it seems like a more cultural thing that they have little inscriptions in their blades.
He was like, I'm bookending this.
Yeah, sure. I'm just like, why would that be more useful than your magic against a demon-filled boy? But whomst am I?
I guess in case he's caught alone, since, you know, now the story has established that Jake cannot do solo magic anymore, like he did in his first 2 episodes.
Alright.
The next day, Charles Meade speaks to Diana, and she makes it clear that she still doesn't trust Blackwell, and that she's keeping as much distance from him as she can while working with her circle. And Charles is like, oh, okay, cool. Well, here's a necklace that you can wear to prom. It was your mother's. And she's like, oh, okay, that's beautiful. At the school, Cassie tells Adam about her plan to find the crystal with Diana's help. And Adam's like, okay, cool. Do you want to ride to prom by any chance? And then Faye and Melissa materialize, and Faye's like, no. You two are not going to rekindle whatever was going on there, because then your little Conant Blake curse will activate. And the next thing, my date Jake is dead in my arms.
I'm obsessed with the setup that if y'all even look at each other slightly lovingly, I'm gonna die. No, it's my mission now to make sure you never hook up.
And I love how she's like, it's not that any one of the other members might die. It's definitely gonna be Jake. And I'm like, well, the spell is laying eggs on Jake.
Oh, that's so funny. And then they're like, I'm sorry, Jake, why is Jake coming to prom? It's like, he doesn't go here.
It's so funny, because first Melissa's like, shut up, Faye. And then Cassie's like, you're taking Jake to prom? And Faye's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had to ask your permission. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
The Cassie-Jake thing is well and truly over at this point in the story.
10 episodes ago. Like, let's not.
And then Melissa's like, well, interesting factoid. Faye and Jake were actually supposed to go to prom together 2 years ago. And Faye's like, enough. We don't need to talk about that. It's ancient history. And then weirdly, for the rest of this episode, Faye is the one who is just prom obsessed. She insists that they need to treat this event with reverence, and they want limos and champagne and the whole deal.
Unlike her.
Yes.
And her shit about like all the school rah-rah event stuff is like lame and beneath me. Like, when did that shift? For a man? Get me out of here.
So confused. It's like Nick and Jake being in the story at the same time has like broken the ecosystem, and now everyone is switching sides and flip-flopping personality traits, and it's like, what's happening?
They were never meant to occupy the same space. Also, at some point, Faye says that Jake needs a date to get into the school. Crazy.
Yes, she does. And I'm like, I like that you're acknowledging that he's a grown man who shouldn't be here. But at least, as we established previously, he is 19. So, I mean...
20?
Less egregious. No, isn't he 19?
What's the maths again? What year is he born? Is he not born in 92? Aren't we in 2012 at this point?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Well...
Sorry.
Jake, I tried. 20-year-old running around with these 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's not a good look. But at least you knew them when you were all teenagers. But yeah, she's like, this is what normal people do at a prom, and we're supposed to be blending in. And I was like, since when? Why? The witch hunters already know who you are. Nobody at your school notices anything. Sally clearly stopped existing after a certain point.
And frankly, nobody else at the school speaks to you people. So why are we acting like anyone's paying attention?
Oh yeah, Cassie disappeared and you killed Luke, so nobody else talks to you. Luke, who... It's still crazy to think Luke was Adam's friend. Like, truly.
They murdered that guy hard.
I'm like, does Adam have a clique who he hangs out with who are like, hey, Adam, have you heard from Luke? Like, we haven't seen him in a few weeks.
Oh, he left town. He went to Florida, actually. The thing about Luke is you can't really rely on him to stick around, honey.
But Adam is like, well, we're not normal, Faye. And she says, well, we're not normal, but we're not losers either. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. Sure. Whatever, Faye. Charles drops Diana off at school, and then he and Dawn Chamberlain have a conversation in his car while she's peeking through the window. And they discuss Blackwell's plan to reconstruct the crystal skull. And Dawn is like, well, John claims it's necessary to fight the witch hunters. And Charles is like, we cannot give the world's most powerful weapon to the evilest man we know. And I love that. If Charles Meade is calling you the evilest man he knows.
He's so fortunate. The single man more evil than him has entered the story.
So Dawn is like, well, I'll talk to John and get him to confide in me because he trusts me. You know, I told him that I'm the reason you haven't skipped town with Diana yet. And Charles is like, okay, be careful. Without your powers, you're vulnerable. And then Dawn smirks and she's like, to say I don't have power is incredibly insulting. Oh. And I was like, okay, Dawn, fool yourself.
Like...
Later on, Melissa is alone at the witch shack when Nick, or whatever might be piloting his corpse, comes in. And he's like, I need your help. And he looks a little worse for wear. He's like, I'm dying and I need the crystal. And she's like, okay, let me just, do you recognize me? Do you know who I am? You know, like I'm trying to get through to you. But he becomes agitated and demands the crystal. She attempts to calm him down. But then Adam comes in.
Yeah.
And he gets spooked. And he shoves Melissa to the floor and runs away.
Oh.
I was like, Adam? She might have
It wasn't Adam. So Adam was not spooking the horse. He stood there and went, Nick? And then Nick went crazy. Like, Adam really didn't agitate there.
Sometimes that's all it takes, you know? If you're a photographer of nature and you want to take a picture of a butterfly, sometimes you can't get too close to the butterfly.
yeah, that's fair. Weirdly, Nick reminded me of Victor Crumb in this episode. I don't know why. Maybe it's like... Imperious
when he was Imperious.
Because he was like blue as well, yeah.
Yes. I love that in the movie, the effect of the Imperious curse, at least in that one scene, is that
it's
your
so
eyes
visible.
become clouded and gray.
Yeah.
I'm like, so everyone would know who was mind controlled and who wasn't.
It's such a counterintuitive effect. Like, goddamn.
So John Blackwell goes to speak to Dawn, and he's like, how did you convince Charles to stay in town? And she's like, no, I just told Charles it was best for Diana that she stays with her circle. And then Blackwell's like, speaking of Diana, she's been openly hostile towards me lately. And Dawn is like, well, yeah, just because you're her bio dad doesn't mean she'll automatically see you as a parent and trust you. And then she cheekily adds, if there's one thing you've learned from 16 years ago, it's not to take people's loyalty for granted, John. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, this is not about you, Dawn.
I mean... She right, though.
And she's like, yeah, Diana is loyal to Charles. And then Blackwell is like, so Charles is the problem. Cool. Guess I'll go deal with him.
Crazy.
And Diana's like, wait. The whole town saw your little confrontation. You can't just go kill him. Diana will know it was you. And then Blackwell's like, no, I won't lay a hand on Charles. There are other ways to break his bond with Diana because I know something about him that will expose him for who he truly is. Tee-hee. And then after that, Diana won't be so loyal to him. And then he skips away, and Dawn is like, shit, let me call Charles right away. She gets his voicemail, and she's like, oh, okay, Charles, call me back. It's urgent. Because obviously she's thinking, he knows, you killed Amelia.
Dawn on the struggle bus this couple episodes trying to keep anything together. She ain't got no magic. All she has is her wiles. She's trying to keep this evil man contained. It's tough.
She's juggling the two evil men in her life, and it's really hard.
When you're an evil woman juggling two evil men, God, life is hard. As a woman in your 30s in the city.
The non-Balcoin members of the circle meet up at the witch shack, and they discuss Nick. And Melissa's like, well, Nick said he was dying. And Adam's like, yeah, he was after the crystal and he attacked Melissa. And then Jake says, oh, well, if Nick could hurt Melissa of all people, then he is well and truly gone. And Melissa's like, no, I could see it in his eyes that he was still in there somewhere. And Jake is like, no, you saw what you wanted to see. And then Faye, who seems to be in a completely different show, is just like, come on, let's go to prom. It was so... Truly, the only thing she contributes in this scene is before Jake walks in and Melissa's looking upset, she's like, have some bubbly, I promise it'll help. And then when the discussion is over, she's like, come on, let's go to prom.
This is so depressing.
She's fully dissociated from what's happening. She's like, I'm focusing on the prom, guys.
I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know what's going on with anyone. Well, Jake is projecting hard, that's clear enough. And Melissa is desperate. Faye, what's going on with you? I don't know. Let's go to prom. I'm sorry. Dark magics are afoot.
So hard at that.
Crystals need to be found. What is your focus, girl?
My bestie's dead ex is running around and upsetting both her and my current love interest. But let's just go to prom, guys. So Diana and Cassie conveniently decide to go on a coffee run before heading to the school to do their spell. And this results in them running into Grant the Aussie.
Gareth, what is he doing here?
Grant? You keep calling him.
I keep forgetting. I truly, what is he doing here?
Name.
Why is he still here?
Well, it's Cassie's first time ever seeing him, and she's like, oh, he's cute. And Diana dejectedly states that, yeah, he's most likely over me because I've had to repeatedly blow him off with lame excuses and lies in order to deal with witch drama. And Cassie's like, girl, go speak to him. I'll get the coffee. So she goes over to Grant, and she's like, I'm surprised you're back in town. And he's like, well, my boss had some business to do in Chance Harbor, so I came back. And then she's like, well, I'm off to prom. And he's like, oh, cool, nice dress. As their flirting is taking off again, Cassie gets a text about Nick attacking Melissa, and she's like, hey, Diana, we have to leave for prom because our friends won't start prom without us. And Diana's like, Grant, sorry, I've got to go again. And he's like, no, it's fine. I've decided I don't want to come between you and your friends.
Good instinct.
You can hit me up when you're able to. And then she's like, yeah, cool. You can meet me at my house after prom if you want. And he's like, cool. Then Charles, getting his just desserts. Charles gets a phone call, but it turns out to be John Blackwell magically making him hear ghostly echoes of Cassie's last phone call with Amelia from the pilot episode, right before Charles killed her.
In the previously, I was like, now crazy to bring back the arson. What's this about? And then this moment hits, and I'm like, oh.
They really wanted to make sure that we knew, because they were like, previous in the Secret Circle, the whole phone conversation. I got a flat tire, but it's okay, I can change it myself.
And it's like, yeah, remember when this man burned a woman alive for no reason other than to get her daughter back to his town so he can get his magic back? Just in case you started liking him.
Wild.
His friend.
So the circle arrives at prom. They're like, oh, it's surprising we all made it to prom, given the year we've been having. And I'm like, well, you didn't all make it. Nick died. But Nick is there, so I guess he got in as Faye's date. Ugh. And Faye's like, well, this night is like every other night of the school year because we're dealing with a psycho being on the loose. And Melissa's like, Nick is not a psycho.
No.
And then Faye's like, okay, sorry, demon challenged.
Faye. I said it once, I'll say it again. This is where Faye should be. She's in her element right now. She's cooking.
So Cassie's like, okay, let's just go find this crystal. And they split off to go look for it, I guess. Well, I guess the others are enjoying the dance. She and Diana are going to go do the spell.
Yeah, I guess they get to have fun.
Charles gets another phone call. This is a real one from Dawn. However, when he picks up, all he can hear are those self-same voices of Cassie and Amelia Blake.
Hey, Mom, I just got a flat.
And then his kitchen starts acting up, much the same way Amelia's did when he attacked and murdered her. His tap explodes in a shower of water. His countertops spontaneously ignite. He slips and falls on his back.
Exactly
And he can
the same
hear
way.
Amelia's terrified screams of agony as she burns to death. And he's like, Amelia, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please.
John Blackwell is a nasty creature. Nasty. But also, again, Chelsea burned that woman alive in her home.
It's what she deserves. She being Charles in this instance.
Of course.
Then suddenly the visions disappear and we see it's all an illusion. And John Blackwell has been watching him from outside. And he's like, yeah, I think that's enough. My work is done. And he leaves. Cassie and Diana cast the spell. At first, nothing happens. And Diana's like, maybe we need to physically connect. Cassie scoffs at this, and then Diana grabs her arm, and immediately the spell works.
Right.
So again, Diana was right. I don't know when you're gonna learn,
My girl
Cassie.
who thinks, because nobody else can.
So we see that the flashback is to 1995. So at this point, all of the circle members would have been babies at least. Nick
Yes.
would have been like 3. And we see that Amelia is speaking to Elizabeth. They are both in high school. So I was like,
pregnancies.
so you
18 with
And then I'm like-
toddlers. Get me out of this hell.
And then I was like, I'm so confused. So what had happened was that at least Amelia and Elizabeth were teenagers
Yes.
who got pregnant and had little babies at home by this point in the story.
Yes.
Elizabeth was in such a serious relationship with Charles that Charles would later describe it to Diana as, your mother and I are having problems. We separated for a bit, but then got back together. I'm
They're
like, you were
16 at the
teenagers. That's
time.
called breaking up. That's
They're
called
15,
breaking
16
up.
talking
You
about we
didn't
needed to
separate.
go on a break because we were having some troubles. We made the mature decision to separate. And then she got pregnant.
I can only assume that Jake and Nick's parents are older than the rest of theirs, since Jake is like fully 3 years old at this point.
Yes, they have to have had Jake first. That's what we'd said about Papa Armstrong earlier on.
But then my question is, how old is Blackwell? Was he the Jake of this group? Was he this 20-year-old kerfuffling with teenage
And
girls?
ephebophile, yes, most certainly. This shit has to cascade.
Oh no!
This shit runs deep. He was scamming on 15-year-olds so he could make babies for his inbred cult. He's all bad vibes.
Oh gosh. I mean, you'd have to be terrible to be worse than Charles, I
Yeah.
guess. But anyway, in the flashback, Elizabeth tells Amelia that she's on her way to meet the rest of the circle. And Amelia's like, no, something terrible is gonna happen. Don't go to that boatyard. I beg of you. And then Elizabeth is like, why? And Amelia's like, I can't get into it. Just take Diana and leave town, please. And then Cassie's like, oh, this is the day of the boat fire, Diana. My mother knew what was gonna happen. And I was like, well, I'm not even shocked at this point. Everything comes back to this damn fire. So sure, fine, why not? Amelia tells Elizabeth that John Blackwell isn't who they thought he was, and they should never have trusted him. And Elizabeth is like, yeah, I know he's dangerous. I told you that when you first brought him into the circle, but you insisted. Ooh. And Amelia's like, okay, I was wrong. You know, Blackwell was using us. I only learned the truth a few days ago, okay? And Elizabeth's like, a few days? Why did it take you so long to come tell me?
The look that Diana gives Cassie as they're seeing this happen, she's like, yeah, that's your mama, all right. Mm-hmm. That makes all the sense in the world.
She said, apple meat tree. Elizabeth is like, why did it take you several days to come and tell me? And then Amelia's like, well, she's like, because you like being in control, isn't it? That's why. And I was like, oh, there's some drama going on in this previous circle that I would love to hear more about.
I would watch the prequel. I would watch an episode, like bottle episode going back to the 90s to see what their day-to-day was.
You know?
That would have been fun.
Amelia's like, well, you know, as long as we're throwing shade, I know that Diana is Blackwell's baby.
She said, I'm not mad.
Blackwell won all of us over Elizabeth. We're just the 2 idiots who slept with him. And Elizabeth is like, okay, well, you know, I will admit being with Blackwell was a mistake, but he gave me the greatest gift, Diana, and I have no regrets. And I was like, you're speaking like someone who knew one day her child would watch this flashback. And she's like, I don't want him to think.
So you can appear as perfect mom. That's so funny.
I was like, it's a little on the nose, but okay. Elizabeth is like, I hope Diana doesn't inherit any of John's darkness, but if he does, it's your fault, Amelia. I was like, damn, okay, wow. And she's like, yeah, you brought Blackwell into our lives. And Amelia's like, okay, yes, it's me, mea culpa. Just take Diana and Charles, your man, and flee. And Elizabeth is like, I can't do that because if I try to leave, John will tell Charles that Diana is his baby and I will lose everything. And I'm like, yeah, you are a teenage girl because you think this one relationship with this man is everything. But okay. So then Amelia's like, let me offer you some advice, okay? Charles is just... And then Elizabeth cuts her off and she's like, no. Stop telling me what to do, okay? I will protect my family my way. I am done listening to you. And she storms off. Diana's like, let's follow her. And Cassie's like, well, we can't. We're tied to the person in the flashback who had the crystals. So now that your mother has exited the scene, that's the last we'll see of her. But at least Diana got to see her mother wearing the necklace that she's now wearing.
So she could get confirmation that it was indeed an important thing for her to wear.
My mother's necklace.
No.
Katara, I see you. Back in the real world, Nick, or Demon Nick, shows up at the dance. Some stoners outside offer him drugs, but he ignores them. So I guess it really isn't Nick.
Damn.
A security guard tries to stop him breaking in, but he attacks him and snaps his neck. So I'm like, did the demon give you super strength?
Demon don't care.
Is that why you've been butchering witch hunters?
I don't know what their dominion over Nick or the demon is. Like, I don't know how they have him working for them. Is it the promise of the crystal? Was that all it was? That's why he's gone rogue now?
I'm not even sure. We'll get to it. There's a scene that sort of explains it, but I was honestly a bit confused, and I was hoping to use you as a sounding board and be like, what does Sandile think? Because
Sure.
I don't know what's happening.
All right.
Adam and Melissa speak. They have some nice scenes together. It's a nice friendship.
Really like Adam and Melissa in this episode. I just... Do you... Because... Okay, sorry. Go on, and then I'll ask.
I was just going to be like, it's everything that I needed Steroline to stay as, but you know.
I had the opposite. I was like, is this a Steroline moment? I was like, is this a setup for an option?
You and I, two sides of the same coin. Melissa's feeling a bit melancholic and she's like, oh, look at us with our lack of romance. Look at these happy couples walking past us on the way to a dance, living a normal teenage life like everyone else at prom. And Adam's like, hey, you know, being a witch might be hard, but look at us. Let's do some magic. Ordinary people couldn't do that. As troubling as all of this is, don't forget that we're special and cool and magic is beautiful. And I was like, oh, that's nice.
Lovely. And they
that's
dance
sweet.
together as the music plays. It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm. I was reading it as fully platonic, but you know,
Who knows?
It's
the
a
thing is,
CW
it's
show.
a CW, so I'm always in the back of my head like, is this a setup? And the thing is, I always sort of go, well, who are the nicest people in the group? Because I like when those two get together, especially when their love interests are either like so much drama or like incredibly annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam doesn't have one right now, and Melissa's current one is her demon dead ex-boyfriend. So like, I'm happy for them to get a little action.
Well, not to mood whiplash, but your least favorite pairing of people is in the next scene.
I'm pretty sure I skipped that, so this is going to be new information.
It's honestly ground that's been covered before. I was like, why is this scene even here?
Yeah.
Faye comes up to Jake at the dance and she's like, hey, Jake, because he's got his little knife. And she's like, hey, Jake, if you keep playing with that knife in your pocket, people might get the wrong idea. And Jake is too distracted to even get the dirty joke. He's like, huh? What? And she's like, you know, your prom date is a lot more boring than I would have imagined.
Could have told you that.
She's like, remember how I was supposed to come with you 2 years ago and you stood me up? I waited 3 hours
when
for you.
When I was 14 and you were 17, you know.
I think she was 15. Jake is like, wow, you waited that long for me? And I'm like, Jake, I think this is the part where you would usually be like, I'm sorry, I've grown, I've changed, I shouldn't have stood you up. Instead
Jake
of being...
Armstrong? Okay.
Fair. And Faye's like, no, it was my fault for caring. I made a habit of never doing that again. And then she drags Jake to the dance floor and she's like, I'm breaking my habit. We're going to confront your feelings about your brother. I know you've been hard on Melissa because she's expressing all the emotion that you're trying to bury. And Jake is like, oh, I feel guilty. I walked out on my brother and I wasn't there to help him when he was possessed and killed. And I'm like, yeah, we've covered this already. Didn't we deal with this several episodes ago? I'm confused.
All page time that could be going to Melissa, as far as I'm concerned. And that's true of any time that Jake's been in the show post his quote-unquote redemption.
I guess because Nick is back now, and it's like, oh, him being back, like, I feel so bad. I should have been there to help him. And then Faye, in one of the wildest things she's ever said, in my opinion, she's like, listen, Nick was a part of our circle before you, and we were all there when he died, not you. We failed to protect Nick, not you. So
Girl?
You can feel sad, but let go of the self-hatred. And I was like, wait,
Girl?
is the lesson here that he should blame you guys and not himself?
I'm sorry. I'll have you know he did blame you guys when he got to town. And he blamed Nick, too. Said Nick was getting into some stupid shit and that's why he died. As though Nick was dabbling with demons. And that's how he got possessed. Don't piss me off.
Insane. Dabbling with demons, my death metal bag.
Haranguing with hunters. What you were up to, Jake, when your brother got possessed and killed.
But yeah, I guess thus Faye has assuaged Jake's guilt. So
well done.
all's well.
Congrats to her. I knew there was a reason in my soul and in my intuition that I skipped that scene. I was like, it's not going to be anything I need to hear.
Back in the flashback, Cassie and Diana follow Amelia to Grandpa Conan's classroom. Because if you'll remember, Adam's grandpa was a teacher. Amelia gives the elder Mr. Conan back his crystal. And he's like, no, but I gave it to you so you could protect yourself from Blackwell. She's like, no, I don't need it anymore because I'm actually leaving town. And then he's like, wait, sit, let's speak, like what's going on? And she's like, okay, well, he's like, listen, my son Ethan has been acting strange all week. I know something is up. Amelia says, well, Ethan has decided to sell John Blackwell out to the witch hunters. And truly showing how much everyone hates Blackwell, Mr. Conant is like, yeah, as much as I'd love to see him out of your lives for good, and believe me, I don't like him either, but I don't know, trusting the witch hunters, that seems a little reckless. And Amelia's like, no, it's worth the risk. And I was like, damn, everyone really hates this man. Like, even the adult in this situation back in the day was like, I also need him gone.
Yeah, I get it.
She then reveals to Mr. Conant that John Blackwell is responsible for all of the pregnancies of the 6 girls in our circle. And then Mr. Conant is like, he impregnated all of you? And she's like, no, well, I mean,
I can see why you think that, Mr. Conant.
She's like, no. Only 2 of us slept with him. The other 4, he just used magic to make sure they conceived with their boyfriends. And I was like, ew. John Blackwell, you are so creepy. Especially since you seem to be an adult, and at least some of these couples would have been like both sides would have been teens. I'm like, what? Ew.
Oh, John Blackwell.
Mr. Conant is like, this is all part of Blackwell's plan to have your kids grow up together. He's building a circle for himself. And Amelia's like, yeah, that's why I gotta get my daughter out of Trans Harbor so that the circle can never, ever be bound. And I was like, oh, so much for your best laid plans, Amelia. You really tried.
Girl, and you were doing so well actually for a solid amount of time. And then a bastard man came by and messed it all up.
And Mr. Conant is like, okay, listen, I'll hide the crystal, cloaked, inside the trophy case at the school. So if you ever change your mind, you can come back and get it. And Amelia's like, cool, I'm gonna go now. And then he says, wait, what should I tell my son? And Amelia says, tell him I don't love him. And Mr. Conant is like, well, he'll know that's a lie. And Amelia says, then make him believe it. And I'm like, oh, so Amelia really was in love with Ethan.
Isn't it fully insane that for most of this show, we were led to believe that Ethan was some like puppy dog, unrequited loser who was like, well, I couldn't get with your mom, so you and my son now will have to carry the torch. And it's like, no, they were in love. They were together and they conspired together to kill that evil man. Gosh, Amelia and Ethan.
Ethan. That's a couple name.
Well,
it sounds like a chemical compound.
Ephelia.
That one sounds prettier. Cassie and Diana, who are watching all of us, Cassie finally realizes that, Blackwell is evil and manipulative. And Diana stops just shy of an I told you so. The flashback ends, and Cassie's like, oh my gosh, Diana, you were right. I am so sorry. And Diana's like, well, you should apologize to the rest of the circle as well. And Cassie's like, well, I mean, Blackwell fooled all of us. And Diana's like, no, the only reason Blackwell is in our lives is because you let him in. Just like your mama did with her circle.
Diana! And the thing is, she's right. Is it fair? No, but she's right.
So Diana's like, my mother is dead because of Blackwell, and half of our parents are dead because Amelia couldn't see him for what he really was until it was too late. And Cassie's like, well, it's not too late for us. And Diana's like, well, how can you be sure? And she storms off. And then Adam and Melissa come in, and Cassie's like, okay, well, Diana and I have learned about this creepy magical conception thing that Blackwell was doing with our parents. So there's that. But also we know where the crystal is. It is in the trophy case in the hallway. Then they hear a sound outside, and it turns out Nick was eavesdropping. I guess Diana just walked past him.
I'm sick of Nick just being, because it's the same thing happened. No, it wasn't Nick last time. It was it's Voodoo King number 2, who was, I guess, just by the window at Grandpa Armstrong's house listening in on their whole conversation. What is this, Harry Potter 1? Get out of
I can't even remember what Voodoo King number 2's name is.
Callum's his name.
He runs off and they race after him. Then Nick runs into Dawn Chamberlain. I don't know how he gives them the slip so quickly, but he runs into Dawn Chamberlain and it's just the two of them. She is, of course, stunned and confused. And she's like, didn't I get my boy toy to drown you? How are you? What? Nick? And he barrels past her. And I just know this principal is so tired of being bumped by demon-possessed students.
Nobody has any damn respect in this school.
So Adam goes for the trophy case while Cassie and Melissa get Faye and Nick. And Adam manages to get the crystal, but then Nick attacks him, smashes him through the glass, and flees. And I was like, damn, Nick, I'm amazed Adam doesn't have any cuts. Like, you slammed him into the case.
Magically unscathed, frankly.
So the circle minus Diana goes after him. Speaking of Diana, she goes home to her dad, Charles. He's still spooked by his faux haunting, and he's rambling on about how, I've done things bad and good, but it's all been to protect you. Out of all the terrible things I did, you were the one thing I got right. And she's like, Dad, what are you talking about? You're not making any sense. And he's like, Diana, go upstairs and pack your bags. We have to leave town. And she's like, what? I think you're not okay. I'm going to call the doctor. And he's like, no, Amelia is coming for me because of what I did. And then she's like, what? Why would Amelia be coming for you? And he's like, because I did something bad. And then she's like, oh. He didn't even need to say it. She's smart. And she's like, oh my gosh, you killed Cassie's mom. And then she runs out of the house in tears. I can only imagine how devastating it must be after everything else she's experienced to then find out that her dad is a murderer. As she runs out, Grant is there because, remember, they were supposed to meet up at her house later. He's like, oh, hey, I'm here for our pre-arranged meetup.
Sure. Why not? But more importantly, I saw it as she steps out. For a show like this, you'd see it after she's already got with Grant. But you can see him in the background when she first steps out of the house. Like a Mike Flanagan Easter egg. John Blackwell, goddamn creep, skulking in the shadows. Oh my God.
So I'm like, so when he was done haunting Charles, did he just stay in the bushes waiting for Diana to come home?
Diana to get home.
Weirdo.
It's so weird. Oh, and what was his plan? As soon as she comes out distraught from the fact that her father killed her sister's mother, she would come crawling to me as I was waiting right outside her home. You think she can't put 2 and 2 together, John Blackwell?
I guess he just wanted to witness the destruction of their relationship. He's like, I'll get to her later. I'll be like, fathers can be disappointing. Good thing you've got 2.
It seemed like he was waiting to scoop her up afterwards, and Grant messed up his plan because he looks miffed that she leaves with Grant.
Oh, perhaps.
Wild.
But yeah, she breaks down in Grant's arms, and it's nice that she's got someone there to comfort her, because I'm like, yeah, I can see that she's not enjoying any of this witch business anymore. It's ruining her life. The other circle members follow Nick to a creepy wrecking yard, and Faye is like, why has it always got to be some spooky, dirty place? Like, why can't we ever have to follow these witches and these witch hunters and demons to a nice hotel?
That's so true, girl. That's really true.
So they're like, let's split into 2 groups and look for him. And I'm like, no.
Never split the party.
Faye goes with Jake, while Cassie goes with Adam and Melissa. While they're alone, Jake apologizes to Faye, finally, for standing her up at prom 2 years ago. And he's like, yeah, you didn't deserve that. And I was like, okay, well, growth? ? Meanwhile, Adam, Melissa, and Cassie see Nick meet up with none other than Eben. This is where I start to get confused. So Nick goes to Eben and he's like, I have the crystal. I'm assuming that means he wants to give it to Eben. And then Eben is like, but a demon doesn't travel as easily as a crystal. And I'm like, that makes it sound like you want the crystal and not the demon, even though this exchange seems to be him giving you the crystal in exchange for the demon. Because then the circle members who are watching, they're like, oh, okay, I guess he wants to trade the crystal to Eben so that he can keep the demon. And Cassie's like, yeah, because the demon is what's keeping the body alive. And then Melissa's like, oh no, but it must be a torturous existence. That's not really being alive. And I'm like, okay, I'm confused. Wait, what did Eben want? Did he want the crystal or the demon? It's so confusing.
So I think Eben definitely wanted the crystal because that remains to be true in the final episode. Because he wants it as a what do you call it? not hostage. But the word I'm looking for is kind of like that. It's a thing to hold so that nobody can move against him, because the only thing that can move against him needs that crystal. So I can believe that part. What are we saying about Demon Nick? That it was actually Nick who can only stay alive because of the demon, or that it is the demon that wants to stay in the host but can't do so if Eben decides otherwise?
I guess it seems to be that.
I gave 2 options. What do you guess?
The latter.
Okay.
The demon piloting Nick, or Nick being confused and being one with the demon and being like, I want to stay alive, but Eben wants, I guess, to add to the 6 demons he already has.
Okay.
And I'm going to trade the crystal with him so that I can stay where I am. And I'm like, but the dialogue is so confusing, because the dialogue sometimes sounds like it's the inverse of that.
To me, Nick does not exist. That was my assumption, but I guess maybe I'm mistaken. I was like, there's no Nick here. It is a demon piloting his body that's trying to stay alive, I guess.
Which is fair.
But I'm saying I don't know. I'm saying maybe I misread it.
I mean, I think the the net total is the same.
Well, fair enough. But I guess it matters in the sense of when, as I'm sure you'll mention, he comes to an end. Is there some semblance of Nick here that is dying once again, or is it just this demon?
The scene isn't really treated that way, but we'll get to it, I guess. Cassie jumps out and she's like, we can't let him get the crystal. Time to do some solo dark magic. Yanks the crystal out of Nick's hands. She picks it up. Then Eben is like, I've also got magic now, girl. Telekinetically tosses her aside and knocks her out.
Yeah, this is the scene. This is the scene I mentioned like 14 episodes ago. I said there's a scene I hope is in an episode I'm driving, because it's so funny. My sisters and I laughed about it for a year afterwards. So in the scene when Eben uses magic to telekinetically toss Cassie, first of all, the way she goes flying is comical enough, because she goes flying. But the thing is, the way she swings makes it so obvious that there's wire work being done to throw whoever that stunt double is. She like pivots about an axis twice before she hits the ground. And I just, every time my sisters and I would imitate the movement walking around the house, like just like swinging about the feet. So good. Go back and watch that scene, listener. If you have been watching along with the show, it's so funny.
But then Eben's like, I'm gonna kill you all. And then he, I guess, telekinetically shoves a car at Adam and Melissa. But then Blackwell arrives and saves them by shoving another car into it and T-boning it. And I was like, you couldn't just stop the car? Like, that feels dangerous. But he's like, you kids help Cassie. I'll face off against Eben. Nick gets to Cassie first and is about to get the crystal, but then Jake appears and attacks him. Faye, for some reason, was like, I'm going to stay and watch Blackwell fight Eben, even though I can't do any solo magic.
I don't know what
so
that's
I'm
about.
not.
It's purely for narrative fulfillment as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. But then Jake gets into a scuffle with Nick. He's got his knife out, and they struggle for a bit, but Nick gets the upper hand and disarms Jake, and he begins to choke him. And then Jake is like, no, Nick, it's me. And I'm like, oh, now you believe it's
Girl,
Nick? What is happening today?
I don't have the time.
Then Melissa appears and stabs Nick from behind, killing him properly, and I guess freeing him from the wretched existence of a botched resurrection. And she's like, you were right, Jake. That wasn't Nick anymore.
What?
And I was like, girl, I wish your storyline was about something else.
God, the season 2 I would have written for you, Melissa Glaser.
If I had been your writer. Cassie wakes up and Adam tells her that Blackwell is fighting Eben. And then Blackwell shows up and he's like, well, no, actually, Eben got away. But oh, the crystal, mine. Yeah, Eben ran off and he took Faye with him as a captive. But don't worry, we have the 6 crystals. So now we can build the crystal skull and save her. And that's where the episode ends.
Crazy way to enter into the finale. Oh, sorry, Faye's been kidnapped. There was nothing I could do.
Faye's been kidnapped because she chose to just stand there and watch me fight for some reason.
Watch her not father fight the bad guy.
So, episode 22, Family. Insert Fast and Furious reference there, if you will.
Sure. I know it exists. Never seen it.
That's what all the cars were about in the last episode. They were in that wrecking yard, all the cars being thrown about.
We figured it out. We've cracked the code.
So Diana wakes up having fallen asleep in Grant's car. And she's like, oh, please tell me we've left Chance Harbor and we're halfway across the country. And Grant is like, well, no, because I don't make a habit of driving off with people who aren't conscious and can't consent.
I don't believe that, but okay.
But also, your phone's been blowing up all night. I wasn't snooping. I just glanced at the text to make sure it wasn't an emergency. But it's just something about Faye and this guy named Eben. And Diana's like, ugh. Faye and Eben? Okay, let me run off again. My peeps need me.
Sorry your friend got kidnapped, Diana. Sorry it's getting in the way of your date. What? So I don't care for Grant. I really don't.
And then Grant is like, would you really want me to take you across the country? And then she's like, well, you know. And he's like, I will if you want me to. And she's like, yeah, maybe someday. So one of Eben's underlings ties Faye up in whatever hideout the hunters are using now. I think it's the boat in the...
This guy thinks he's so important, hey?
He really does, hey? And Faye tries to intimidate this lackey by bluffing that she's a very powerful witch, the way that she and Melissa keep doing in this show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm a witch hunter. I know my lore. And I know that without your friends, you're nothing but a little girl in a cheap dress. And then she's like, this dress is not cheap.
Priorities. Let him know.
Then he does this creepy thing.
After saying she's a little girl, just by the way.
Yes. Caresses her face and basically feels her up. And then it turns out he's looking for her phone. And I'm like, don't know why I didn't just reach into her pocket where most people keep phones. You like went down her whole torso.
There's no other reason. That's a pedophile.
And then Eben appears and he's like, he takes her phone and he's like, let's see what your life is worth. The camera's not even focused on this lackey at this point because it's like Eben's line is just finished and you can hear this guy being like, give me your hands.
Yeah, he just keeps popping off for no good reason and I don't care for it. It's just like you've not even been established. You're not a Luke. You're not a, what's that spooky looking one who came back?
Samuel?
At the carnival ride. You're not an important one.
So the rest of the circle meets up at their clubhouse without John Blackwell this time. And they're desperate to find Faye. And Jake is like, well, maybe we should ask Blackwell for help. And Diana's like, nope, that is not an option. Cassie, have you not told the group about this man's many sins? And Cassie's like, I did. I told them about the creepy conception and all of that. I did. And Jake is like, yeah, but we still need help. And Diana says, well, Blackwell is a lying, power-hungry lunatic. We can't trust him. Let's just use our circle magic. You know, that thing that was so important at the start of the season?
From day one.
And then Melissa's like, our entire circle couldn't stop Samuel when he was possessed by one demon, and Eben has 6 inside him. And I'm like, if that's true, I can't remember, but okay.
Yeah, they really just throw that out there, I guess because... But they haven't explicated that because they say that John Blackwell was raising demons. Who says out loud that he was getting bodies for them? But then we were like, was he using the circle to do that? But at no point during the show is that addressed. So it's like, I don't know where the number's coming from. It would make sense to me. It's just nobody's spoken about it.
Yeah. Maybe they watched the little wormy things crawl inside Eben and they counted. They were like, 1, 2.
Each distinct Wriggly-Roo is a demon. That would be interesting
Wriggly-Roo
to learn.
Red Wiggly-Woos.
Wiggly-Woo, Wriggly-Roo, you know.
Then Eben gives them a call, speak of the devil or the demons, and he's like, ha, I'm phoning you from Faye's phone. Bring me the crystal to the ferry boat where your parents met their demise, or Faye will burn just like they did. And then Cassie's like, wait, why do you need a crystal? Are the demons running around inside your skull not enough power for you? And he's like, actually, they are enough power. That's why I want the crystal. So that you can't make the skull and take them away from me. Bye. So she relays his demands to the group. And Jake is like, yeah, I don't believe Eben will honor his end of the bargain. So we just have to go and find a way to kill him before he hurts Faye. And the only way to kill him is with the crystal skull. And then Diana, MVP, is like, well, the only reason we think the only way to kill him is with the crystal skull is because Blackwell told us that. And since we know we can't trust Blackwell... And Jake is like, well, my granddaddy Armstrong said that the crystal is the most dangerous weapon ever created. And Cassie's like, yeah, if Eben wants to stop us from forming the crystal so badly, it must be the only way to kill him. And Blackwell's the only one who knows how to work the skull. So Diana, like... We have to do it. Also, he's gonna need our help to form the skull because of our Balcoin blood. Diana is not pleased. But Jake is like, actually, Diana, it's best that you be there to make sure that Blackwell takes the skull to the boat once he's made it. And I'm like, and how would she force him to do that if he doesn't want to?
He's proven to be more powerful than anybody. What is Diana supposed to do?
Nonsense.
She doesn't even have her dark magic awakened yet, unlike Miss Cassie.
So Adam is like, okay, listen, you girls go off and do your skull business with your bio daddy. The rest of us will come up with a backup plan in the meantime. And then Cassie's like, yeah, once Faye is safe, we will deal with Blackwell using our circle magic, just like you want, Diana. And Diana's like, okay. Charles and Dawn get to meet up. one last time. And he's like, yeah, I was haunted by Amelia last night. And Dawn's like, girl, that wasn't Amelia. That was Blackwell punking you so that he could turn your child against you.
With some distance, it's kind of funny.
She's like, we had a whole convo about Diana's loyalty yesterday, so I easily deduced that he was up to something. And he's like, oh, well, it worked, because I confessed to Diana and she ran off, and I haven't been able to reach her since. And then Dawn, one last time. I love that the final episode gives us all our greatest hits. Dawn, one last time making a situation about Faye, is like, I can't find Faye either.
It's like, girl,
it could have been Faye.
That could have been Faye. Oh, I love
it. All of our greatest hits. She's like, something terrible must be happening. And Charles is like, yeah, our blind quest for power set all of this in motion because we're the ones who brought Cassie to town.
Yeah.
We need to get our powers back. And there's only one person who can do that for us. And I was like, an elder? Because you've killed like 2 of them now.
I had seen the credits and I was like, well, I know who you're talking about.
Diana and Cassie meet up with Blackwell at some or other shoreline. It's very pretty. And he's like, oh, the ceremonies in this spot date back to our ancestors' arrival in Chance Harbor. And I'm like, okay, cool, colonizers.
Right. Exactly.
And then he's like, okay, in order to create the crystal skull, we first have to destroy each of the 6 crystals so that their energies can be reforged into the skull. But doing so will disconnect the links between the crystals and their respective families, and it'll also unbind the circle. And they're like, what? Sorry, say that last part again.
Sorry, you really said that under your breath. What are you talking about? And unbind the circle.
And Diana's like, unbind the circle. No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
We're
not.
not doing that without at least speaking to the others first. And I'm like, there we go. Diana's like, I have not gotten the group's consent.
Cassie said, sorry, we have to do it.
She's like, no, but we don't have a choice. Even though, yes, I admit, I don't know what will happen to our friends if we unbind the circle while they're in the middle of a mission. And then Diana's like, okay, again, let me reluctantly do what these biological relatives of mine are insisting. I miss being a Mead.
Truly learning your biological family and then having them be the worst nightmare to face at any given juncture.
Adam, Melissa, and Jake are near the ferry, waiting to hear back from the others about the skull plan. And Jake becomes restless because, of course, Jake has got to be annoying and brash on the last day. All our greatest hits.
Kill him now.
He's like, I want to go in and find Faye. And then suddenly all 3 of them feel a strange sensation. And they're like, oh, it feels like my heart just skipped a beat. What was that? And Jake's like, okay, anyway, I'm going to go see if Faye is alive. I have to know if she's alive. And he starts to head off for the boat. And then Adam is like, no! And telekinetically yanks him back. And he's like, what? That must have been combined magic, because that's all we have. You guys are ganging up on me? What happened to us being a family and a team? That's not nice. And Melissa's like, girl, I didn't do anything. Don't look at me. And Adam is like, no, he's right. I just did solo magic. And then they're like, oh, we're unbound. What's going on? And Melissa says, because I'm smart, I'm going to phone Cassie and Diana to figure out what's going on before either of you run off half-cocked into that boat.
I'm going to bed before any one of you comes out.
How we made 2 HP references.
I don't know what's happening today.
I try so hard to avoid referencing that woman and her works, but it's too seeped into pop culture at this point.
I usually don't, but I don't know why my guards are down today. Today's been a strange day.
Your wards are gone.
My wards are defective. I need to re-up them after this.
Inside the boat, Faye is struggling against her bindings, and they suddenly magically untie. And she's like, please tell me this is happening. And she gets up, goes to the door, it's locked, and she says, well, she doesn't say anything because we're at non-verbal spellcasting level now, but the door is locked, and she unlocks it with solo magic. So, lock, unlock. She gets her solo magic back, and it's the first spell she casts.
I
love it.
Waiting for this day. She's been feeding for this day.
The way I cackled when I saw this, I was like, I find this hilarious. I used to make fun of this spell because I thought the incantation was basic and stupid.
And you
did not realize it was such a staple of the series.
The gravitas. It's woven through the thread, the fabric of this show. The lock unlock is the spell.
It is really our Fesmatos Incendia. It is our Expelliarmus. It is whatever the Winx girls are constantly using, dub to dub.
I don't know. Solarium.
But yeah, after unlocking that lock, Faye smirks and she's like, oh, I am so back.
We're so back, bitch. I'm so glad she has her arc realized.
Literally. Pinning that. We'll get to Faye's arc. I want to talk about that when we're done. Okay. But she attacks one of the goons standing guard and she knocks him out, getting her phone back. Back in town, Charles and Dawn have called Grandma Catherine Mead over to give them their power back. While they're speaking to her, Faye phones her mother, and I'm like, look at that, she phoned her mom.
Oh.
Wow. No wonder this show got cancelled. There's too much reliance on like adults in this story.
Figures.
Like the CW doesn't like that. She phones her mother, and she's like, hey mom, I know I'm a witch. And then she's like, yeah, it's fine, I know you know.
Have you been reading my journal? It's like, Faye, focus.
She's like, Faye, please, just tell me where you are. That's not important right now. She's like, okay, I'm at the ferry with some witch hunters. And then she gets attacked mid-call and the line cuts. And then Donna's like, Catherine, I am begging you, give us back our magic. I know you have regrets about not being able to save the previous generation when they were kids. Please help me save my kid.
No.
And then Catherine's like, well, actually, when your magic was removed, I didn't like store it in a jar somewhere. It was like deleted. It's gone. Like I emptied the trash.
The save file's
it's gone.
Sorry.
Nothing in the recycle bin. So there's no way for me to give that back to you. However, I'm going to give you my magic instead. And I was like, does that mean you're going to split your magic between the two of them?
Yeah,
how does that even work?
I guess because she's an elder, she is so much more powerful that it's like equivalent to their two spheres of magic. So it balances out fine.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, if Bonnie can put her magic in a bear,
who
why
are we
not?
to question this process?
Back at the river, lake, whatever shoreline the Balcoin peeps are on, the crystal skull, it's a cool spell that they cast where like they put the crystals on the ground in a row, then like they magically get lit with like white flame. And then Blackwell is like, okay, each of you pick up 2 crystals, and I'll pick up 2. And they pick them up, but the fire doesn't hurt them. Like, it immediately goes out when they pick it up. And then they toss it into the water. And I guess it breaks down chemically.
Alchemically.
And then begins to form this amorphous blob that, like, calls Cassie into the water. She's like, I can feel its power calling to me. She reaches inside and pulls it out. And I was like, oh, that's a jellyfish. Put that down.
There she go, boiling the waters again. She's always doing this.
Our greatest hit. But she pulls out this silvery white, like, shapeless mass. And she's like, And I was like, well, that looks gross. That ain't no skull I've ever seen. And she brings it back to the shoreline. And then she's like, wow, it feels so powerful. It feels amazing. And then Blackwell is like, yeah, Diana, touch the skull with your sister, quickly. And then she's like, okay. And he's like, now don't let go of it until I tell you to. And then this amorphous blob shrinks down into a skull shape. And I was like, oh, no, that's more like it. And I guess seeing the crystals broken down and knowing that it was their power being reformed.
Maybe we were a bit hasty about the formation.
Yeah, it's fine. We're converting energy into mass. Who can say how the heck that works?
This is the other side being used to fashion new bodies, corporeally. It all tracks.
Meanwhile, Melissa has not been able to reach Cassie and Diana. I guess their phones are off. And Jake is like, well, I'm going inside to find Faye. And Melissa's like, fine, but I'm going to go with you because remember, she was tied to my storyline before you even entered this show.
so you better get in line.
And then Adam's like, cool, I'm leaving to find my ex-girlfriends. We'll regroup later.
And Adam and Melissa hug before they part ways. It's really cute. They're just like, stay safe. Oh, God.
Adam and Melissa. Adlissa? Madam? I don't know.
The true duo, platonic or not, I'm just like, I didn't see it coming, or I guess I didn't remember it coming, and I've really, really appreciated it in this back half.
Meanwhile, Blackwell is like, yes, the skull is finished baking. It has risen to perfection. The yeast did what it needed to do. He's like, now give it here, and I will go and, totally stop Eben. And then Cassie's like, wait, why can't I hold it? And then he's like, what? And Diana's like, Cassie, stop being weird. And then she starts to act a little power hungry. And she's like, well, I want to be the one to use it against Eben. And then Diana's like, well, actually, yeah, I guess. Why can't Cassie hold it? Dad. And then Blackwell is like, girls, don't be silly. And Cassie's like, well, I mean, I'm not seeing what the issue is. Give it here. And she takes the skull from him. And Blackwell is like, I wasn't born yesterday. Nice job, playing up the whole, the power is corrupting me, I'm power hungry thing, but I know you guys are bluffing. And then Cassie's like, I don't understand, Dad, don't we have the same goal, which is defeating Eben and saving Faye? And Blackwell is like, actually, no, we don't. And he knocks them both out.
Fair play, buddy.
Charles has one last conversation with his mama, Catherine, and he's like, I've learned Diana isn't my biological daughter. And Catherine's like, I always suspected that, but blood doesn't define a family. You've loved Diana your whole life. But I must warn you, Charles, without the skull, we can't destroy the demons that are inside Eben. And Charles is like, I know. There's one other way I can get rid of them. And I will do it to finally do right by my child. And I'm like, look at you speed running your redemption arc.
He literally says, if this is my one shot at redemption, I was like, I don't know about all that, but it's the least you can do.
So Jake and Melissa get to Faye. They're happy. They reunite. Faye and Jake have a big kiss.
Hooray.
It's funny because she immediately kisses Jake. And then when Melissa tries to have her moment with Faye, Jake is like, girls, we can talk about this later. Let's leave. And I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, now that you've got your smooches in. Okay.
Then Eben arrives and attacks them, paralyzing them all on the ground. And Cassie and Diana wake up back in the witch shack where I guess John just dragged them bodily.
Yeah. Just had them scooped on each shoulder like a dad when his daughters are tired from a long day and brought them home.
They're lying inside some little circle that's been drawn on the ground. They're trapped. They can't get through. And Blackwell is like, haha, I have no interest in using the crystal skull to stop Eben. Tee-hee-hee-hee, mustache twirling. My grand master plan was creating a generation of witch children from scratch and then orphaning or near orphaning them so that they'd be desperate for a guardian and more susceptible to my manipulation. And they're like, oh, you fiend! Back over with the witch hunters, they tie Jake, Faye, and Melissa up, and Eben lights the fire with his demon magic and leaves them to burn. Before he does, he's like, you're abominations! And then Faye's like, and what do you call what you are? You're full of demons.
In you.
She's like, you're full of demons, among other things.
And it's like, shit? Is that what you're saying, Faye? That he's full of shit? Okay. Fair.
Jake also gets some shots in, but I can't remember what he says. It's not important. But probably just like the same thing. Like, oh, you're the evil, twisted one, yada, yada. He leaves them to burn. Dawn and Charles arrive just as the place is starting to fill with smoke and they can hear like the children's screams. And Charles is like, okay, you free the kids. I'll deal with Eben. So Charles attacks Eben and casts a spell to pull the demons out of Eben's body and into his own. I was like,
Voce.
You didn't see that coming, Eben. I like that when Dawn arrives and she hears the scream, she's like, it's not just Faye, there's others there as well.
There's other children.
One last time, she had to be like, oh, it's my child is the most important thing. You know what? She's a mother, it's fine.
She's a mother.
But Dawn easily stops the fire with magic, and she saves Faye and the others. They go off, but then Jake breaks off from the group, and he's like, I've got to go find Eben and have my own bookend. He finds him just as Charles is taking the last of the demons into him, and Eben is like, well, this isn't over, Charles. I'll get you yet, Gadget Boy.
Gadget Boy. He's so much smarter than the rest. Gadget Boy.
That might be too deep a pull for some of our viewers.
Oh yeah, no. I don't even know how many people watch the Inspector Gadget cartoon, let alone the Gadget Boy. What y'all know about Spydra, okay?
She was so cool. I loved her eyes. They have webs inside them.
Yeah, beautiful shit.
But Emma's like, yeah, I'll get you yet. This isn't over. And then Jake is like, actually it is. Stabs him with that same witch hunter knife.
the knife that was foretold.
And he's like, this is for my parents and Nick. And I was like, yeah, even though he didn't have much to do with Nick's demise. But yeah, sure, I guess you were manipulating his corpse.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
So sure. Weirdly, I think, I'll just pin in that. Pin in Jake and Faye's arc.
Generally.
Well, yeah, while he's doing that, Charles somehow disappears and he doesn't see where he's gotten to. Dawn and the kids see Charles fling himself off the boat and into the water.
Tell Diana I love her.
The last thing he says is, tell Diana I love her. And then he drowns his demon. And it's like, you know what? I guess bookend for you too.
You know, we're dishing him out today.
Should have lit himself on fire first and then jumped into the water
to make sure.
Because I'm like, oh yeah, how many people have you attacked with the elements in this?
You know, you've been burning people and drowning people left and right. It's only fair.
So Cassie asks Blackwell, "What do you need the skull for? You've explained your evil master plan." To have the circle, but what do you want the skull for specifically? And he's like, that's the cherry on top. I'm not going to kill the witch hunters. I'm going to kill witches. all non-Balcoin witches. You see, there are 4 other Balcoins from other witch circles. Remember when Granddaddy Armstrong briefly mentioned that there were other circles? Yeah, so I already know that there are 4 other dark witches in those circles. I'm gonna kill all the other witches in existence, including your little friends, and then when you 2 are left over, I'll add you to those other 4, and we'll have a cool little circle of 6 dark witches.
The thing he doesn't say, right? Because he's like, then we will create... He talks about creating the purest race, which...
Klaus.
But the only Balcoin witches left will all be half-siblings. So I guess we're incesting our way into the new era of witchcraft, right?
Well, I guess these Balcoin witches from the other circles aren't his kids, necessarily.
That's what they meant. That's what Grandpa Royce was saying, that he was siring other kids in the other circles to form this new circle.
Oh.
It's his family.
Well, I guess, Diana, you've got a bunch of other biorelatives that are awful people that you're gonna meet.
There's no other Balcoin left alive to make new Balcoins. It is him.
I guess much like the previous circle, you can just marry into it. So he'd send his 6 kids off to get spouses, and then they give birth to another generation, and we just keep... I don't know.
He's killing every other witch now. We've not heard what the outcome is of a witch and a human. That's not been addressed at all in this show.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So...
we don't know if you can be half.
Half
and half.
I don't see what else the outcome could be here.
1 drop rule, okay? It worked in the TVD universe.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Balcoin's grand master plan. And indeed, as he casts his spell, we see Dawn, Faye, Melissa, and Jake start to die, being burned from the inside out.
After he darkens the magical skull into a dark magical skull.
Adam arrives to save his exes, but he begins to die as well. And Cassie's like, no, we have to break free. But she realizes her dark magic is just not strong enough to break out of this force field. And she turns to Diana, and she's like, I'm not strong enough.
I need your power.
And she starts to suffocate Diana. And Diana's choking, and she's like, what are you doing? And Cassie's like, killing you.
This is such a good moment. I really, really like this.
I loved it. So Diana is brought to the brink of death, and her dark magic activates. And with their powers combined, the girls are able to break free.
Yes! Combine your sisterly powers and destroy your toxic dad. I support this wholeheartedly.
Sisters doing it for
themselves.
And Cassie swipes up the skull, and Blackwell is like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm reversing the spell. And she turns it on him, and I guess starts to cook him from the inside out. His skin blackens and blisters, and I'm like, it's what he deserves. And I guess he dies because he collapses.
Oh, he's a husk.
Okay. You can never be sure in these kinds of shows.
He comes back with a demon in him. It's like, huh? How? All right.
He's like, I had a contingency demon in my back pocket.
You know, I signed the deal with Abandon himself. Should I ever descend to the underworld?
But yeah, he dies, and I was like, good. I'm so glad. Crazy that Cassie had to attempt to murder her sister in order to get her there, but she knew what she was doing. It worked. John's final words before he dies, he's like, Cassie, stop. We share the same blood. We're the same. And I'm like, was the lesson of the season that blood relatives aren't everything? Because I guess that's a nice takeaway. I guess that's it. They meet up with the rest of the circle afterwards. She's like, it's my fault all of this happened. I just wanted so badly to believe in him.
Yeah.
I should have known it was wrong. I'm sorrier than any of you will ever know. And they're like, no, it's okay, Cassie. It's all behind us. Now we just have to destroy the skull so nothing like this ever happens again. And they're like, wait, isn't the skull indestructible? I don't know who it is who's like, we could surround it with lead and block its power. And I was
Adam
like, did we establish lead was another? Oh, okay. Oh, yes, I think we did establish. Wait, so it's lead, iron, iron sulfate,
yes,
salt,
right,
ashwood, some other
ash.
thorny plant.
Some other tree.
I'm just like, so basically anything connected to the element of earth will weaken these witches.
So, which is crazy given it's one of their elements. So is metal.
You know? That's wild.
A shame.
They're like, yeah, we can surround it with lead and block its power so no one can ever detect it. And
drop
then,
it in the ocean.
Throw it in the middle of the ocean.
Okay, Angel.
Cassie is like, no, but I've used it and its power is dark and seductive. It's more powerful than anything I've ever experienced. I don't want to go near it. And then Faye's like, fine, I guess I'll do it, guys.
Melissa's like, absolutely not you.
Definitely not you. And then she's like, And then who? And she points at Jake and she's like, ex-witch hunter. And she points at Diana, evil princess number 2.
In this moment, why does no one put forward Melissa?
Yeah.
Just a last one to throw out there while we're here, because who would we be if we didn't, you know?
Greatest hits. We have to ignore and disrespect Melissa one last time.
You know?
Because then they're like, Adam, no one's more reliable. And Cassie's even like, thank you for coming to save us. And he's like, no, I was useless. Blackwell's power was too strong. And then Jake is like, no. Adam should ditch the skull. All those moral merit badges should add up to something.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I guess this is your version of a compliment. It's fine.
Sure.
They're bros now.
Yeah, they are. He said, don't die. And Adam said, you too. And they solidified as bros.
And then Adam's like, okay, I'll do it. Who is it who's like creating this horrible thing destroyed our circle, but we need to like put the circle back together? Melissa agrees and she's like, yeah, maybe we should just like lay low for a while now that Eben is gone and Blackwell is gone. The hunters and ghosts and demons, they all started coming after us once we were bound. And I'm like, well, I
don't know if that was going to happen regardless, I feel.
Yeah, they already knew you were here. That's been discussed at length. But they're like, yeah, maybe it's safer if we're not bound. And then Faye is like, we can still be together even if we're not bound. You know, when you guys showed up on the boat and saved me.
I found it cute that she didn't prioritize the solo magic, even though we know she was thinking it. But she was like, yeah, we don't need to be bound to be friends, guys. We can still hang out. I thought it was really lovely of that to be Faye.
Love your arc, Faye. Love it.
Gosh.
She's like, when you guys showed up and saved my ass, I knew we were connected, even if it's not official anymore. And I was like, oh, shucks.
She's like, I love you, losers, or whatever.
And then Cassie's like, well, Blackwell said there are more ball coins coming. Everything he did and everyone he killed, or tried to, it was because he wanted Diana and I to be part of a Balcoin circle. But like the 6 of us being bound together, that's our greatest protection from ever letting that happen. And I was like, can you be double bound? Would that be like a way to make you not, like, can you play both teams?
Can you play both sides? Asking for a friend.
But Diana's like, no, I can't actually. Sorry, I'm leaving town. So I guess that's it. She literally says that. She's like, I'm leaving town, so I guess that's it. She walks out into the foyer and then Cassie runs off and she's like, no, Diana, wait, please come back. And she's like, no, I have to get away from all the memories and all of this. And she's like, I'm so sorry about Charles, your dad dying. You know, he saved all of us. And then Diana's like, well, he also did some terrible things. Some unforgivable things.
Does Cassie know?
Say anything. Cassie doesn't know.
Oh my God.
Because the only people who knew were Charles and Dawn and Blackwell. Blackwell is dead, and Charles told Diana, and Diana hasn't told anyone else.
That's crazy.
Because I remember you saying there were 2 major cliffhangers the show ends on, and I'm like, watching this episode, there are several.
I was like, there's 3 things I remember. I didn't remember this.
Truly, Diana just looks at Cassie and she's like, he also did some terrible things, some unforgivable things. Cassie doesn't ask questions. She's just like, please stay, bound or not, you're my sister. And you're the only family I have left, which I was like, well, you still have some half-siblings cross-country somewhere, but yes, I understand. The only family you want that you have left. Diana's like, listen, no matter where I go, that's never going to change, but I have got to get out of here. I've lost everything, and I don't even know who I am anymore.
Cassie's like, I know better that than anyone.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt when I first came to town, but you took care of me, Diana. And I was like, this relationship is actually so beautiful, and I like that it's at the heart of a lot of the stuff in the show. Sisterhood, witches, sorority. I love to see it. And she's like, let me help you now. And Diana says, listen, I know you had to activate my dark magic for us to get free, but now that I felt its power, I never want to feel it again. I cannot get away from dark magic and be with you at the same time. I'm sorry. So she leaves. I guess she's gonna go wherever Grant is going, and I'm like, Grant, isn't this girl a minor?
Are we talking about it now?
I don't know if it's illegal for you to just leave town with her when you don't have the permission of who are her guardians at this point.
I feel like I was saying this last time, and you were like, I'm choosing to believe Grant is freshly 18, and I was like, okay.
No, I mean, even if he's freshly 18, I'm like, you're a legal adult. She isn't. You can't just leave town with her without her guardian's permission.
It's kidnapping. But I guess who's a guardian now? Grandma Kate? Because her
Catherine.
dad is considered dead, presumably. They're all acting like he's dead.
Jake and Faye have a final moment.
Sure.
Where he's like flirting with her and she's like, actually, I have plans. So I've grown and my world doesn't revolve around you anymore. But they do share a kiss and they're like, yeah, we'll look each other up some other time. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Good for you, Faye.
So later on, she meets up with Melissa and she's like, we're celebrating having our solo magic back.
Dance party.
She telekinetically pops the champagne and I'm like, that counts as a lock unlock to me.
Oh, boy.
And she's like, get dressed. We're going out. It's Sunday night in Chance Harbor. Faye, there's nothing going on. And she's like, no, you got it wrong. We have solar magic. We can make this town whatever we want. And I'm like, I wonder where their storyline was leading.
What are we...
Like, were we going to cause a bit of chaos?
I guess summoning more pizza boys, right? Because isn't that what the scene ends on? That's the sort of shit they're going to be doing.
I mean, good for them, I guess.
You know?
We do see Grandma Kate casting, I guess, that demon sealing spell that Heather had on her on Charles. So now he's going to be catatonic.
Yeah.
So I guess he's alive. Pity that Diana doesn't care enough to go and check and see what happened, but I guess she just thinks he's dead. So
That's
it's
what
like,
I'm saying. So I'm like, oh, do they know or do they think he's dead? I can't tell.
I guess they all think he's dead.
Because she's like, what happened to Charles? She doesn't say that your dad is dead.
Because Dawn saw him jump into the water while the others were there. I don't know if Jake saw him take the demons into himself, though.
Sure. But Dawn saw the demons in his head.
And Dawn, Faye, and Melissa, and maybe Jake saw him jump into the water. So I guess they assume he died.
But then Grandma Kate is keeping him in the Mead household.
Yeah, ain't nobody else have access to that house?
I guess not. Actually, no, that's a lie. Everyone walks into that house freely. we spoke about this specifically.
She's going to change the locks. She's going to lock.
She's going to lock
and make sure that nobody...
Oh, Lord. Okay, fair enough.
And then we get one last scene with Adam Conant. Still crazy that we never see Ethan again. Adam Conant, who's sitting down with the skull that he's been tasked with getting rid of. And then he touches it and gives this little smirk. Like he can feel the power inside. And he's like,
the dark magic
maybe
is sexy
I
to
also
me.
feel some temptation. Maybe I'll put on even thicker guy liner next season and show that I've transitioned into
Maybe
a
I'll
bad
start
boy.
wearing a darker color than black.
I start wearing Void.
Start wearing Vanta all of a sudden.
So it's like, okay, that's the cliffhanger we leave Adam on.
There is also the Jake scene. He gets a thing from Grandpa Royce being like, dark witches.
What is that?
I don't know.
What was he holding?
Some sort of relic, I guess. Some other, like the crystal. They said the crystal skull is not the only magical thing, so I assume it's one of those magical things to prepare him, because Jake needs a more central role than he already has, apparently.
He's like, the other bell coins are coming.
I guess his witch hunting skills will become important now that the bell coin witches are coming.
Finally, we see Diana leaving town with Grant. As she buckles her seatbelt, she looks at her palm and sees the Balcoin symbol has appeared there, like an intricate scar. And she's like, well, okay, well, not thinking about that. Let's go.
Girl, how far do you think you can run?
Cassie, meanwhile, is home alone and lights a fire with, I guess, solo magic that could be dark or not at this point. And she also has the Balcoin symbol on her palm. And then we see a final scene in the distance. 4 silhouettes, 3 guys and a girl show up, looking out at the town.
All white.
And they also have Balcoin symbols on their palms. And it's like, oh, snap, the half-siblings are here already.
And then
And that is where
the end of the show.
The secret circle ends. A lot of loose threads, I guess, because it's like the Balkan witches are here. Something has marked Diana and Cassie permanently, whether they like it or not. Diana has skipped town. Adam might be getting corrupted. Melissa, as usual, has nothing to do.
Yeah, well.
And Jake, I guess, has been given something by his grandfather to get rid of the Balkan witches when they arrive. So good for him. But the winner of this season, ultimately, it's actually a 2 for 2. It's Dawn Chamberlain, who briefly got her magic back. I assume she gave it back to Mama Catherine afterwards.
I assume and hope she gave it back to Kate.
She briefly got her magic back and managed to keep her child alive. But the true winner is Faye Chamberlain, who got everything she wanted. She managed to get her solo magic back. She managed to get Jake to pay her the time of day, respect her, and actually be so interested in her that she said, actually, no, I'll see you later. I want to hang with my bestie, Melissa.
It was Her long plan the whole time was to Jake Armstrong.
She even managed to be like, you know what? I kind of like my circle now. They can be annoying, but yeah, I love you guys.
I'm going to prioritize Melissa over a man. That's what I'm going to do because I've grown, guys. This is my ending.
So, Faye, congratulations.
Girl is going to be okay.
Congratulations on weirdly having the most satisfying arc of any character in this show.
Absolutely wild. Faye Chamberlain, you wonder, you phenom, you insane girl.
Because as much as I'm like, oh yes, Diana and Cassie's arcs certainly very interesting and fulfilling, they aren't complete by the end. It's still like, and then there must be more. Cassie, we don't even know what's going to happen with her and Adam. And that whole fated to be together, but it's not actually really a curse nonsense going on there.
And frankly, Cassie's response to the mark is very different from Diana's as she holds her hand out to the fire and like smiles a little bit. It's like, oh, okay. Maybe John Blackwell had some merit to what he was saying towards the end there.
Maybe she and Adam were going to become an evil power couple. Who knows?
Oh, my dog.
Especially because if the circle is unbound, does the pretend curse still
matter?
affect? You
True.
know?
And with John Blackwell dead, frankly, there's no concern about the curse because it wasn't real. Shall we remember?
I guess the thing is they don't know that it wasn't real. He's dead. And he never admitted that.
Oh, God.
I guess Jake also, for his part, has a satisfying arc because he's now devoted to Faye. He has finished mourning his brother Nick and has moved on and washed himself clean of that guilt. He's avenged Nick and his parents by killing Eben. We're probably never going to see Isaac again. He even has a more reliable daddy figure because Grandpa Royce is in contact with him.
Grandpa Royce is present in his life. Isaac is dead, I believe. Isn't that what they said?
I don't remember.
Yeah, they said Isaac
is
dead.
dead.
Eben killed him because of the schism.
So as much as you hate to see it, Sandile, Faye and Jake got everything they wanted.
You know what? I'm going to choose to be happy for Faye. That is what I'm going to choose to do in this moment.
Your favorite problem child.
I said it from day one. That's my daughter at the end of the day. And I will support her wins.
It is sad that everyone gets a scene where it's like, and this is where we close out. Either we're bookending it, or we're leaving a little cliffhanger.
Melissa gets to dance with Faye.
Melissa just gets to be with her friend Faye. As her friend says, I have an idea for what I want us to do since I am the leader of our pair.
And she went,
like, okay, I guess.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
It's so unfortunate. Oh, man.
CW.
I guess we'll never know what was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's the nature of the mid-season is that it was kind of mid and they never renewed it. So I guess reflections and thoughts, I don't know. I think we're aligned in that I would have liked to see what they did with season 2. There was enough here, I think, that I wish they got a shot.
I can certainly see why people campaigned so hard to hashtag save the circle.
The secret circle. Oh, to be clear, the things that I remembered was Adam with the skull, because that visual is hard to put out of my mind. Of what's that actor's name? Thomas Dekker. Just making love to the skull. The Balcoins at the end showing up, being like, we run this town. And Charles Meade taking in the demons and going into catatonia. Those were the 3 things I remembered about this film.
I see. I mean, the Jake thing wasn't especially memorable. It was just like, it raised more questions than anything. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I also didn't remember a lot about Jake, which, to be fair, you know.
I had forgotten that Nick comes back. So when we reached the part that he was back, I was like, oh yes, I do remember him coming back. I fully had not watched far enough to see that they then kill him again.
Yeah.
So I was hoping Nick was just going to be like in the show. I don't know what that would have meant for Jake. I would sacrifice Jake for Nick. No offense.
Easy choice to make. If that was his bookend, his redemption was to expend his life to have Nick come back and live some semblance of a normal life, I think that would have been nice. If that's what it took to restore him.
Oh, also, biggest thing, the circle is just unbound now.
Yeah.
For was that gonna last a while? Were we gonna eventually rebind them
with their own magic? Would it have the same, because they're not unbound, they are unbound? Would they still have the same concern of their powers being a runaway reaction that was the impetus for them to bind their circle to begin with?
Maybe not, because one of them has left town now. See, that only became an issue when Cassie arrived.
Now that you're here, we have real power
now.
Yeah.
So I guess with Diana being gone, Diana actually helped y'all. She was like, keep your solo magic. I'm
So
going.
we're not going to blow up Chance Harbor.
But yeah, it was a pretty cool episode. I loved how many bookends, both intentional and otherwise, we got. Because the lock unlock.
Yeah. And for all my faults and critiques, and there were many, on average, I liked this show. I think I liked it as much as I did when I was much younger and had fewer critiques and less media literacy. The vibes were still vibing.
I must add, it turns out I did more research. It turns out I was mistaken. Apparently, that was just a rumor. This is not the same universe as the Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
Fans wanted it, but I believe the showrunner had explicitly said, no, that's too complicated, so we're not doing that.
That makes sense, because I really was like, I don't know how they're going to square the circle on the different types of witchcraft here, but far be it from me to speak against Kevin Williamson.
Belcoin witches meet Bennett witches,
Oh,
all right?
they
They've
would
been doing it like
thrash
no other.
that man. They would have destroyed him. No, you know what? They would have worked for him. They would have had no choice for some inexplicable reason.
It would have been like he's been roping Bennett witches into helping him for generations.
You know.
How do you feel about... Because here's the thing. Jake and Faye are basically an item at this point. How do we feel about them being the one couple standing?
I don't
We
feel
don't
anything
get any Adam and
about that
Cassie.
for time. I have no feeling in my body or my soul about that result.
I'm sad because we don't even get like one lost like, oh, Cassie and Adam. Like, it's like the writers forgot about the Cassie and Adam of it all.
Definitely. That got dropped the episode after it ended. That's why I was like, maybe Adam, Melissa. I was like, I need one good ship here. And I'll take that.
Maybe. But I'd be like, don't give Adam to Melissa when he's about to go on a bad boy arc,
yeah,
please.
I need Melissa with someone solid, please. Let's not have her work to redeem him. She needs her own storyline.
I mean, that would probably be it. They'd put him with Melissa as he becomes evil. That eventually causes their breakup so that he's available to go back to Cassie when she's ready.
Yeah, disposable black girlfriend.
Or who knows, maybe she would have been with one of the other brother Belcoins that was showing up ominously on the shore of their town.
I think that's more distressing.
Because, I mean, Cassie can't be with any of them. They're her family, so...
They're her literal... Well, by John Blackwell's designs, you know... Just a little Clary Fairchild.
John Blackwell never said he wanted his siblings to inbreed. He is not Valentine. Not siblings, his children. I mean, if Clarissa Clare had been writing this,
it's Cassandra
honestly,
Clare. You've called her
Clarissa Clare.
a number
Sorry,
of times.
I combined her self-insert character, Clary, whose full name is Clarissa, with her pseudonym. If Cassandra Clare had been writing this series, then we would have gotten the throuple romance with Diana, Adam, and Cassie that we asked for.
For them to later discover, oh wait, but we're sisters. Whatever will we do?
And then one of them would have been like, but John Blackwell is a liar, so how do we know that we're really related? Diana! But yeah, Secret Circle, interesting lore. I guess less racist than it could have been, but still...
Somehow still, I joked, I was like, all the Balkan kids are white. I think it's better that way. I don't want a black character tied up in the pure race bullshit. I really don't. I think there is a version of that that's interesting, but not being told by CW writers. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I guess. The magic in this world, though kind of lackluster sometimes, was kind of interesting, I guess, because we spend more time with it than we do in TVD, because our main characters are all witches. It was interesting to get to explore. You guys could still work on your spells, but I do like that they're like, oh, the older people know their Latin magic. It's the kids, these new age witches who come with their lock and locks.
Yeah.
And their fire without flame, give me heat.
They've got to be like, make the storm stop.
It would have been great to see y'all grow and change. But what little we got was very interesting. Yeah, grateful for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Still mid, though.
Still mid, and fare thee well. We thank you for what you did, but we're moving on to the next one.
So if you, listeners, have any questions or thoughts, you can mail us at animalattackpod@gmail.com. You can tweet us at animattackpod. That's at ANIM AttackPod on Twitter. And you'll find our link tree in the bio, which has all of our other online stuff.
And don't forget, we are hopping next into season 2 of It Was an Animal Attack.
Yes.
We're talking about Teen Wolf.
Woo-woo.
So, in either 2 weeks, because we're going back to normal scheduling, or 4 weeks, because we haven't gotten our shit together yet, and we will, you should see that intro episode in your feed.
A show that didn't get cancelled, but boy oh boy, maybe it went on too long. Past its sell-by date, methinks. But until next time, lock, unlock, and la-da-da-da-da.
La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Bye.
Cheers.